You were mentioning there about your articles and your books. Can you give me a little bit about what your books are and why people should read your latest book, Raising Men?
So I have Raising Men, the book, and then I just did a small ebook, and I'll explain it for both of them. So Raising Men is I've had a lot of women readers. I've had readers who don't have kids. I think it should be like in the personal development world rather than the parenting section of the bookstore, and here's why. It's really, for me, it's my story of my dad getting sick and me searching and figuring out ways to replace that with when I went to the SEAL team to do it. And then I learned how to apply those lessons to my role as a father. And it was as much about when I write it and when I read it myself, I'm filling in any of the gaps that I might have missed growing up as much as I am filling in the gaps or, like preparing myself to raise a kid. Does that make sense? So we all had or needed somebody to hold that role in our life. And it's by no means like the de facto manual and all that, but it's a whole bunch of really good experiences that can get people started. So, and this is crazy, but when, kind of like making lemonade out of lemons, one of the positive things to my dad getting sick is I was like, okay, I got to find the answers to these questions. And my dad was doing a good job, and he would have done a good job, but all he would be able to teach me is how to live life as a man based off the time frame that he grew up in, which had been fine for thousands and thousands of years, except for with technology and the internet and the way that shift pivoted. I would say those systems are all antiquated now. They don't really work anymore. So in a way, I didn't have what we call training scars from that, because I had to go find my own, and there was no like, oh, I want to do it the way my dad and grandpa did. I just had to go. I was just looking for what was effective. So that's what that book is a whole bunch about. And then Habits of Heroes, the ebook, it's like it goes like the 5 mistakes men make and the 4 ways to fix it. It is a kind of like a little manifesto on manhood and why they're getting their asses handed to them on a day-to-day basis. And it is the beginning of the story of the book I'm writing this year. And it's the beginning of the strategic training groups that I do periodically with 7 men at a time. And it's basically the beginning of the story. And then if people download the ebook, then they end up on my email list, and I'm going to continue sharing the story. Out of all my time and my life and my grand total of experiences in life, to me, this is the answer. How do I succeed? How do I become a man? How do I a good father? All of those questions, like this is how you do it. You understand what I'm talking about in the ebook, and then these are the actions you do afterwards. And people will follow me on the story, or some people will end up joining me in one of those groups. They're small. They cost a lot of money, so it's not for everybody, but everybody can learn from the lessons learned. And that's what that book's for.
Yeah, I mean, I loved your ebook. I was sitting reading it again today, and I just love the way that it's not, sometimes you read these sort of military-inspired stuff, and it's very patriotic, and it's written in a certain way, but your advice was just so applicable, and it made sense, and it was actually just, there wasn't the usual waffle that you get in these kind of books. You actually just explained yourself in a concise way and how you could utilize the military lifestyle and method of thinking and practicing. So the ebook is fantastic, and I cannot recommend it enough to anybody listening.